This is the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on the New Horizon Radio.
A very warm welcome to the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on the New Horizon Radio. And today is going to be a very exciting show, but a little bit about me. I'm a dopamine dresser, menopausal mum of two, theatre and book lover, and here's what you can expect on today's show. I'm going to be offering a restaurant review, a book review, the Apprentice shenanigans, the vagaries of clothes sizing, and then I'm going to be joined in the second hour by Donna Moore of Donna Moore Holistics. This is my second Working with Waterstones book club segment I'm going to be doing. Very, very excited about this. As a book lover, the fact that I walk into Waterstones and I can literally choose any book I want to review is an incredible privilege. Honestly, I cannot believe it. So this week's read was Claire Keegan's Small Things Like These, which has been made into a film starring Cillian Murphy and Emily Watson. It's one of those books where less is more. So there's not a lot of detail, but it's kind of left to the imagination. It's set in 1985 in a small Irish town governed by the Catholic Church, and the Cillian Murphy character Bill is a working class coal merchant, and he discovers on his deliveries that all is not as it seems in the convent, and it's all to do with the Magdalene Laundries and unwed mothers in those days. And this is not that long ago, actually. This is in the 80s, 1985 to be precise. Unwed mothers were sent to these convents and they were forced to work in these laundries under terrible conditions, absolutely awful. Their babies were taken away from them. They were adopted out to rich American families. And in many, many cases, the babies died. It's not an easy read, but you had to be complicit. You had to kind of just be quiet and to turn a blind eye to what the Catholic Church was doing. And I think it was something like over 800 babies died between 1925 and 1961. As I say, it's not an easy read. If you liked Philomena, Martin Sixsmith's book, which is starring Judi Dench, again, it's a really, really difficult watch and read, but it's that whole period of time which the Catholic Church has tried to hush up. So if that's of interest to you, and I do find it really interesting, but it is very distressing as a mother, you just cannot imagine what these poor girls, 15, 16 years old, probably even younger, sent away from their families, and their own families did it because being an unwed mother was terrible shame, brought terrible heartache and shame to the family. So they were sent away to work in these, as I say, absolutely appalling conditions. And it's about how he has to wrestle with his conscience and face his past. And as I say, it's quite uncomfortable, but really, really thought-provoking. So similar to Philomena, but not quite as harrowing, but it's a really good read. It's not a particularly long book. So yeah, it's a good read though. And that is Claire Keegan's Small Things Like These. I actually had a little food experience the other week. I went to a restaurant, which was quite a treat, actually. My sister, my son and I, and we visited MK Buffet Village. And it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. And we went on a Sunday, which felt a bit weird because we were having to sort of eat like an Indian or a Chinese at 12 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, it did feel a bit odd. But there's literally any cuisine from all over the world. There's Mexican, there's Italian, there's Indian, as I said, Chinese, which is what I had, which was actually really delicious. And I had I had some poppadoms as well, so a little bit of Indian. And the chef was fantastic with my son, who's gluten-free, and he made him a gluten-free chili chicken, which was delicious. And the poppadoms were the best I've ever had. They were so fresh and so crispy. And the pudding was amazing. Crumble Crumble, my absolute favorite with custard. So you could have a full Sunday roast as well if you wanted. So it's great value. It's not going to win a Michelin star. It's not haute cuisine. It's very, very family friendly. And as I say, you can sort of just keep going back for more and more and more. And it's fun, it's family friendly, and it's fantastic value. I'm going to talk about The Apprentice again this week. Oh my God, I cannot believe how bad it was last week. It was absolutely shocking. Each week I sit there with my head in my hands, just incredulous, absolutely shocking. So last week, the so-called business brains of Britain got together and they were told to create a virtual pop star. Now, my son is in a pop band. He's in the music industry. So he sat there even more. The cringe factor was absolutely through the roof. And he was like, Mum, this is not what happens. And I'm thinking, even I'm not in that industry and I'm sure this isn't what happens. So they had to create an avatar, like a motion capture pop star. And the first one that they came up was supposed to be this empowered woman. It's supposed to be a Beyonce or kick-ass singer. She looked more like a school teacher. It was awful. And the way they have to kind of spin it and try and sell it is just, it was hilarious. Their logo was BAME. So BAMI, it was BAMI. And the I was supposed to be a microphone. It looked like a tampon. It just didn't work. It was so bad. They've got some really pushy people on their team, Nadia namely, who is... She makes great television. She's very hard to watch, but if she wasn't on there, it would be a lot less exciting. But it's, she's going to stay. She'll stay, even though her idea of closing a deal is just interrupting, sticking her hand in and just saying, that deal's done. And everyone else is looking around going, oh my God, what actually just happened? I was doing that pitch and you just came in and you just thrust your hand in. That does not how sales works, but in Nadia's head it does. It's quite extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it actually. And what made me laugh is while they said, oh yeah, this is amazing, and they have to spin it, and they pitched to industry and they said, oh, it's worthy of a BAFTA. I'm thinking, I think you mean the Brits, darling. That's the music industry. It was just so bad. The social media has blown up over this because everyone is saying, literally have never seen anything so bad. Absolute shocker. So yeah, their virtual pop bands, I don't think are going to be creating a number one anytime soon, and it really was a top of the flops. Now for my fashion segment. I'm going to talk about sizes, the vagaries of sizing to be precise. What is a standard size now? Ask yourself that. Every single woman that I see every single day comes in and say, I don't know what size I am anymore. It's really, really confusing. I have 4 different sizes in my wardrobe. And to be fair, my weight does fluctuate a little bit, but that's not the reason I have 4 sizes in my wardrobe. It's not necessarily because my weight does go up and down like a nun's nightie, because it has kind of regulated over the past few years, is that there is no such thing as a standard size anymore. I don't know any woman who can actually hand on heart walk into a shop and go, I'm this size in that brand, and that brand, and that brand, and it's going to work. So when I'm doing my personal styling appointments, I will say to the customer, and I can always tell what size they are generally, or the size that I think they are, I will bring in a size either side. So if someone's a size 12, I will bring in a 10, a 12, and a 14. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know when this became a thing. I remember when I started personal styling 20 years ago, you could walk into a shop and it was really easy. If you're a size 12, you're a size 12 everywhere. It was standardized. But now shops just vary so much. So Marks and Spencer's, for instance, come up. They're very, very generous. So a Marks and Spencer's 14 is actually a 16. So it's a little bit of vanity sizing, which is, again, very, very confusing. And the invention of Lycra, I always say, has been the best and the worst invention of the 21st century. It's so comfortable, but my God, it's made us very lazy, particularly over lockdown. So all love a bit of Lycra. And if something doesn't have Lycra in it, I'm not going to buy it. I need to be comfortable. But going back to this whole size thing, and then obviously you've got Zara, which is amazing. It's a Spanish brand, and Spanish girls are really tiny. So everything in Zara is really small. I mean, I haven't shopped in Zara for years. they do an amazing blazer, but I couldn't even contemplate trying on trousers in there. I think I'd want to top myself after it, actually. So it does vary so much. So I've got 10s, 12s, 14s and 16s in my wardrobe, and I kind of fit between sort of 12 and a 14 generally, but sometimes depending on the brand, like Hush for instance, I'm a 10. Clearly looking at me, I'm not a 10, but that's how it is. And then because of my hips, I have to wear a 16, and again, there's no great shame in wearing a 16, but it's frustrating when these trousers are a 14 and they fit well around my hips, but they're quite big in the waist, so I need a 12 around my waist. So it's very, very hard, and I don't know why manufacturers haven't regulated sizing, but I can't see it changing anytime soon. But I think we're very emotional about size, and I see lots of women coming to see me who say, I'm not going to wear a 16. I'm not, because that leap from 14 to 16 feels like it's quite a big jump. And I know myself, when I went up to 16, I did feel that a bit because I wasn't comfortable, and also I didn't want to be able to not wear my clothes. But it was the fact that 16s were going to be too big on my waist, but too big on my waist and sort of fitting around my thighs. Again, why does any woman need 4 different sizes in her wardrobe? But also cut out the label. If it is offending you, if you don't want to be a size 16 or an 18 or whatever you are, cut out the label. Nobody goes around looking at what size you are or judging you. Your friends aren't your friends aren't friends with you because you're a size 10 and you look fabulous in a bikini. Your friends don't care about that. Your family don't care about stuff like that. And as women, we place so much importance on size and that emotional, if I'm this size or if I weigh that much, that's, I feel better, which is why I don't own scales anymore. I have no idea how much I weigh. And that has been one of the most liberating things ever. And now when I'm buying clothes, I literally, if it fits me, that's absolutely fine. If I had to buy an 18, I'm absolutely fine with that. I would just have it taken in the waist. And having a good seamstress is worth their weight in gold. It will make such a difference. So please, if you are sort of nervous or finding the whole sizing thing a big kind of conundrum when you walk into a store, you're not alone. Every single woman in the planet is feeling the same way. Don't be disheartened. Try on 3 different sizes and go for the size that is most comfortable. Don't try and squeeze into that dream size because all you look like is a sausage in a skin. It is not a good look. So please just be comfortable. Life is too short to squeeze into something that doesn't fit. Welcome back to the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on the New Horizon. And I'm so excited to welcome Donna Moore of Donna Moore Holistics. Donna is a Reiki and sound healing practitioner and women's circle facilitator. Welcome, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you,
And
Nancy.
we got the clothes memo.
We did.
I cannot believe this. It's so weird how this happens, actually. When I've had guests before, we've not conferred and we've ended up being sort of color coordinators. So I can't, this is great because I was going to wear something else and I changed at the last minute. So, and for redheads, green is our color, is it not?
It certainly is, yes. Green is definitely the colour for red.
Yeah, so welcome. So this sounds really fascinating. As I said earlier, I've been on one of your retreats. It was absolutely divine. I could have done a whole weekend of that. It was just so special. And I think what I've loved about when I first met you, I love that you just have a calmness about you. You might not feel that, but you
not right now.
But you have such a lovely way about you, and I think you practice what you preach. You talk the talk, you walk the walk. And I think if you're doing something like this, which is really intimate, very personal, some may consider a little bit woo-woo. I don't really care, and neither do you. It's important that you are that person, that you are, living, breathing and talking what you do. So tell us a little bit about what Reiki is, because I've never had it. So I'm quite curious to experience this.
Okay, so Reiki is one of those things that's actually really difficult to explain. However, it works with our energy system. So what it does is as we go through our life, we build up negative scenarios, negative situations, and we store them in our energy system. Reiki allows your energy system to transmute those into nicer energy, if you like. So it just makes you feel really nice and light. My personal experience with Reiki was that after suffering from many years of depression, I had a Reiki treatment after being sent several distant healings from a friend, and I noticed that they made me feel better. You can't really put your finger on sometimes how, but it just makes you feel better. And I was having a really rough time, so I decided to book a personal treatment. Went for this Reiki session, and the way that I described it for me, how it made me feel, was that I went in feeling like the weight of the world was on my shoulders, and I literally came out feeling like I could hop, skip and jump down the road, dancing and singing. So yeah, it's a way of transmuting negative energy into a positive energy. It's an energy of love, so it just, love's always going to make you feel better. So it's a really lovely thing to experience.
Oh my God, that sounds divine. I think I need a spot of that, actually. And I think the world that we live in is stressful, and we're all busy, and we're all trying to do too many things, and life throws curveballs every single day, and I think it's about how you deal with them. And again, we know negativity breeds negativity, and it's about, as you say, breaking that negative cycle with something like Reiki would be really helpful. And I think maybe that should be prescribed on the NHS, don't you?
Yes, 100%. It has actually been used in hospitals. A lot of the tests that they've done, they had like 2 test groups. So they would all have the same operation. One group would have like medical tablets, tablets and things like that. The others would have the same, but would also have Reiki. And it was proven that the people that had Reiki as well as the medication healed a lot quicker than the people that only had the medication. So it's never a replacement for medication, but it can really help you feel better and enhance healing of the body.
That's amazing. And it's good to know that these treatments are, excuse me, being considered a little bit more mainstream now, that they're, we're never going to replace modern medicine and the wonders that it does. But working alongside, the holistic approach, working alongside, I think very happy bedfellows, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. It's so nice. And I think a lot of people do think that when they hear the word Reiki, that it is woo-woo and it is a bit weird. But when there's tests like that have been done, it's nice to back it up with a little bit of science and a little bit of, this has actually been proved to work. It helps the body heal. To me, it's a bit like you're born with an immune system and a healing system within your body. And as you grow, you dull that down through social conditioning and other things. And to me, I think it's a little bit like a jump start to your own immune system and your own healing system. So if you can imagine jumpstarting your car, why not jumpstart your healing system that you've already got?
That sounds amazing. And also, I think, again, it's dispelling the misconception that it's woo-woo, because, anything we don't understand, we're skeptical about. And I think in the past I would have probably been a bit dismissive of it. But I think until you've tried it, don't knock it. So yeah, I'm definitely up for it. And I said, what have you got to lose about trying something like this as well? And I think, as I say, modern medicine does have its place. Of course it does. But obviously with that comes the side effects of whatever medication you're taking. Every medication has side effects. So I guess something like that could maybe not necessarily counteract the physical side effects of medication, particularly if you were going through a really strong treatment. But I guess it would sort of make you feel calmer about dealing with what you were going through. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. It's funny, my husband was a real skeptic when I first started training, but he has arthritis in his knees, and it took him a while, but through the pain, he one day said to me, can you just do me some Reiki, just give me some Reiki, and it got to the point where he was having daily Reiki to help with his pain, because he noticed such a difference. So I sort of transformed him.
Oh, wow. Because I actually, and you must get this all the time, a bit like being a GP. Oh, I've got this. Well, I actually have got a dodgy knee. And I was actually talking to my son about this morning, because I've had physio and I've had an injection and I've got a knee brace and stuff. So and I'm really finding doing sort of my pump and exercise classes or walking downstairs really difficult. So I think I might book in a session, because, modern medicine hasn't worked for that. So perhaps there is some negative chi or whatever it's called in my knee. Absolutely. Okay. And we're going to talk after this a little bit about sound healing. Welcome back, Donna.
Thank you. Welcome.
We were talking about, we're going to talk about sound healing in a minute, but I just wanted to ask about, we talked about Reiki and the importance that it has. And I think it's probably one of those underrated healing processes. But how does one become a practitioner? Because I guess it's not something you can just decide you're going to do. How does it work?
No, so you would go and be trained by somebody, and the training consists of learning about the energy system of the body, because I think it's quite important to understand that system. And then you get an attunement. So when you're attuned, there's a whole ceremony, if you like, a process, a ritual, whatever you want to call it, where your chakras, which are energy points in your body, are opened up. Your palm chakras are opened up to receive Reiki energy. So there are people that are natural healers, but when you become Reiki attuned, it allows you to tap into that higher level of energy. The difference between a natural healer and a Reiki healer as well would be that a natural healer would use their own energy, so they can feel quite drained after doing a healing session. With Reiki, you're channeling life force energy, so it's from the universe, if you like, so you don't feel drained. So a faith healer or an energy healer might only be able to do so many healing sessions, but a Reiki healer would be able to keep going, because the energy just comes through them. It doesn't actually come from them. So yeah,
that's really interesting. So obviously you've trained.
Yes.
Did you enjoy your the training process?
Yes, I did. I really enjoyed my training, and it opened up a whole world of meditation and crystals and lovely things that have really helped me with my own issues, so my own
Journey.
mental health,
Yeah.
my own journey. So so it's been really useful for me.
Because meditation, again, that's something I've only been doing in the last couple of years. And again, I was probably a bit skeptical about it. I thought it was woo-woo. I hate that word, but yeah. And my son got me into it. So the whole meditation and journaling now, and it's like any habit. That's so ingrained in me. I have to do that every day. And today, I woke up this morning and I did my yoga and I did my meditation. And honestly, I mean, it sets you up for the day. And I notice when I don't do it, the day might not necessarily go smoothly if I hadn't, life throws curveballs, as I said. But if you've done that, anything that does happen that's going to send you off in have an absolute epi about something, actually, I'm okay. There were certain things that were going on this morning that I, would have normally challenged the hell out of me. But because I journaled and meditated and done my yoga, I was like, okay, I'm in a good place. So whatever the universe or life throws at me, I've got this. And it's such a good feeling. And not in a smug way. It's just like, yeah, I've got this. I can do this. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It just makes you feel more in control, I think. I think a lot of us feel out of control of our lives. So I think just taking the time to meditate and the journaling as well is really important. I think with the journaling, it can give you a different perspective on things. You can think of something that's really bothering you, and when you start to journal, or something that someone has said or someone's done, when you start journaling about it, you just see it from a different side, and it can calm you down. I think, actually, that wasn't so bad, and I actually handled that well, so a pat on the back for me. And it helps you recognize things when you're journaling.
Definitely. And it's a process of release. It's very cathartic writing. I've always found writing really sort of therapeutic, and also practicing gratitude, writing down the things that are good, because it's very easy to do recrimination writing, go, I had a really rubbish day and this happened, woe is me. But actually, and I had to do that last night. I had to sort of pull myself together because I was in quite a negative headspace, and sort of say, I hadn't had the best day, and I'd been challenged by some difficult people who, because most people are lovely, but when someone's difficult, like, well, why are you being so difficult? Can't you just be nice? It takes much less energy, but unfortunately, there are difficult people in this world. And but I wrote. So instead of just, I wrote about it, got that out my system, and then I wrote about all the things I was grateful for. Like a roof over my head, running, being able to have a bath, food in the fridge, all those basic things that we take for granted. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And when you start writing them down and feeling that gratitude for them, you realise, you may not have things, but rather than focusing on the things that you haven't got, you're focusing on the things that you have, and it does make you think, do you know what, life isn't that bad. I've managed to get this far, and I've done this. Or it's just really nice to recognise the basic things rather than I know when I first started journaling, and it was like, write down 3 things that you're grateful for, and I thought, I haven't got a huge house, I haven't got this, what have I got? But it's like, actually, I've got a house. I've got food, like you say, I've got food, I've got this, I've got a car, I've got family. So that's what's important, not necessarily the material things.
Absolutely. And it is people that, people, family, friends, that's the most important thing. Material possessions, are wonderful, but it doesn't make you happy, so.
No.
So going to go into sound healing now, which is a big subject, but is that same as what you do, your sound baths? Is that what that is?
Yes.
So can you explain to that? Because I love it, and it's amazing, but if you could explain in layman's terms what it is.
So sound healing for me, I use the crystal bowls. It comes back to the body's energy system and releasing the negative energy that you've got stored. Our bodies, everything has a frequency, everything vibrates at a frequency, everything is energy. So if you can imagine that your body is energy, and if it's not vibrating at the right frequency, you're going to feel rubbish. The sound healing allows your body to resonate at the same vibration as the sound, which lifts your energy system, if you like. There's a term, entrainment, which is where it's like the pendulums that go at the same time. You can start off one doing one way and one doing the other, but eventually they will come together and swing together. That's what your body does when you're in a sound bath. The sounds just allow your body to resonate at that frequency, releasing all old emotions, negativity, and just, again, it puts you in a really nice state of relaxation. it's a beautiful thing to do.
I can testify. It is indeed a beautiful thing to do. I experienced one of your sun baths on the retreat at New Year's at the beginning of the year, and it was wonderful, and people fall asleep because it is so relaxing. And as you say, you do feel aligned afterwards. It's remarkable, and I'm looking forward to next week's sun bath. But we'll talk a little bit more about that as well, because it's a big old subject. So you are a women's circle facilitator. Pray tell, what does that actually mean? It sounds terribly grand.
So a women's circle facilitator is someone who holds space for other women. So it can be done in many ways. I do full moon circles and just general women's circles. So what it basically means is I have women, I create an event, I will put it out there, women will book a space, they will come, and we just share experiences. Everyone will get a chance to check in, share their experiences of the week, of the day, of the month, whatever they need to get off of their chest. We do a meditation, we do a bit of journaling, and it's just a really nice network of support for women. I feel that that's been lost. I'm a very firm believer in the cup of tea over the garden fence, and I think that's gone because everyone's working. But as humans, we need that, and as women, we really need that. We need that connection. We need that community. So it's just a chance for women to get together and support each other.
It sounds so wonderful, and you're right. We have lost that, that sense of community, chatting over the garden fence. We're all so busy. Life is crazy, and it's a shame that has disappeared, but it is what it is. And it's wonderful that you can offer this safe space, because female energy is so different to male energy. And I remember when I came to the retreat, there was a guy who came in to do some like maintenance thing, and I was like, oh my god, is there going to be a man in this? And I wasn't sure I wanted that, because I wanted to do that sort of the female thing, and he was just there to help with putting something away. But the female energy is so different, and having a sort of masculine energy come into that space is it just completely changes things. So it is wonderful. And I suppose I love being a woman, because naturally women talk to each other. We're natural communicators, and most of us are natural nurturers. So the fact that you can meet someone, a woman, a complete stranger, and within 10 minutes kind of know everything about that. And it's wonderful that this is a space that feels safe, and that you can maybe expand on those, maybe what would be perceived as superficial conversations, because we just don't have time. So is that kind of, was that your sort of goal, was to just make sure that women had that space, that because, as I say, day-to-day life just does not permit it?
Yeah, definitely. And again, I think drawing on my own experiences, there's been a lot of time in my world, my community, if you like, where I've been surrounded by friends but felt very alone, because there was things that I would feel judged for saying. So I wanted to provide a space where people can come and there is no judgment. Say whatever you need to say, whatever you want to say. It doesn't leave. If it's in my cabin, it's like it doesn't leave the cabin. Just be who you need to be, and know that that's okay. And if you actually go back through history, thousands of years ago, the villages that the women would have what they used to call a red tent. So they would go to the red tent when it was their time of the month, or when they needed support, and they would just spend that time supporting each other through that. And again, they would be cooking together, washing the clothes together, washing the clothes in the river, cooking around a campfire. And we just need it. And again, lifestyle just doesn't allow it. So it's just trying to bring that back in.
It's wonderful. And do you do it at particular times of the month? Is there a sort of cycle of the moon that that's when you do it?
Yeah, so I do a full moon circle monthly, which has really encouraged me to look into the women's circle more, and it's proved to me that it's so needed. So sometimes when you have an idea and you're not sure whether it's going to be needed or whether it's going to work, but it's proved to me that it is needed and it does work. So I'm going to be expanding on that. So at the moment it's just monthly, but I have got a couple of events coming up which aren't in my cabin, so I can allow for more people to come, and it will be a bit more intentional. So yeah, and I'm really looking forward to those.
I think it's wonderful because I'm coming to your what's it called? I'm coming to next week. What's it called again?
The sound bath.
Sound bath next
Yes.
week. Yeah, but I think I'm really, really looking forward to that. And is that in your cabin?
No, that's not in my cabin. That's in the village hall. So I live in Bradwell Village. So that's in the Memorial Hall.
Oh, lovely.
So yeah, that's.
And I've seen the layout, and it's so beautiful. It just feels so kind of calming, doesn't it? There's something just about, that you can sort of bring along your blankets and your pillows. And I'm going to come in my onesie. I hope that's okay. And just being comfortable and warm and as you say, that safe space that day to day we don't, we're just so busy, and also not being judged, because the one thing about women is that we are quite judgy. So yes, we can have immediate camaraderie with someone that we've only just met, but my God, we can be judging someone within 30 seconds of meeting them. What's she wearing? As I was talking about sizes in the first hour about, our friends don't judge us, but some women do. If you don't look a particular way, you don't drive a certain car, or wear particular clothes. I think it is a thing that women do, and we can be quite judgy, and that's such a shame. And this, I guess, is about female empowerment and not doing that. So if you're all in your pajamas and your onesie, you are so equal, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. And we need that again, because like you say, women do judge really, really easily. And it's just reminding them that they don't need to. We are all beautiful women. We've all got our own powers. We've all got our own unique ways and uniqueness, and we need to embrace that rather than worrying about what someone else is doing, what they've got and how they look, or what, just don't judge them. Just embrace yourself and big them up for being themselves.
Absolutely. Well, I bet you can't wait to see me in my onesie.
No, I'm looking forward to it. And all your bedding, your little nest.
So, I wanted to talk about and ask you why you decided to set up. You did touch on the fact that you had suffered from depression, but what did you do before, and then why now?
Okay, so before I started Donna Moore Holistics, I had my own nail business. Oh. So I was a nail technician, and my business was called Inspirational Nails, and I did that for about 12 years. Before that, I was a receptionist at Volkswagen head office, so I'd always sort of worked reception, but wanted to have a little bit more freedom. So I trained to do nails, and did that for many, many years.
Are you judging mine?
No, not at all. I haven't even got mine done, so don't worry. So the reason I changed was because I just didn't feel aligned to the nails anymore. I'd gone through my own battles. I'd started to feel a bit more myself, if you like. And due to family circumstances, my nail business was very successful, but unfortunately my mum has dementia, and I wanted to be around to support my family more, and I was struggling to do both. So and I knew that I didn't feel aligned to the nails anymore. So I took the big leap of leaving a very successful business. Spoke very nicely to my husband, who said he would support me. He was a bit reluctant, obviously, because it's quite nerve-wracking. But I'm one of these people that when I have an idea, if it's beans on toast for a year, it's beans on toast for a year. This is what I need to do for my family, for myself. So, yeah, Donna, I'd already trained in Reiki. I was already doing the meditation. I was already doing crystals. I was already doing a lot of stuff. But yeah, it was the right time for me and my family to change paths.
Amazing. And I speak to so many women who have done what you've done. They've done the big job, or they've run their own business, and then you just get to a point that family comes first. And and your husband has obviously been very supportive, and as my PT Jo said last week, she was lucky. She gave up a big corporate job to become a PT, and she was doing it beforehand as well, part-time. But having that kind of support at home must make such a difference. But it's very brave of you anyway to just sort of say, well, it's beans on toast, because that's what I want to do. Because I think if we're doing what we love, it's never going to feel like work, is it?
No, No, 100%. And Daniel has been really, really good. When I did say to him, he was like, we're not doing this again, because obviously I left a corporate job to go into the now business. And he was like, oh, we're not doing this again. But then he could see the wear and tear on me. I was starting to deplete because I was doing too much. So yeah, eventually he was like, okay, like, you know, do what you can. And he knows that if I needed to, I would go and do whatever it takes to earn money. So, you know, if I needed to do an office cleaning job for a little while I was building this, that's what I would do. I'm quite, you know, I'll go where I need to do what I need to do.
Quite resilient.
Yeah, and determined.
Yeah, and I love that fiery red-headed spirit there. You know, you're just like, that's kick-ass mentality. You know, you say, and I'm a bit like that as well. You know, I set up my business many years ago as a stylist, and again, I was a single parent, and it was brave. You know, leaving a decent, you know, corporate job as well, which I didn't love. I hated it. I'm not a corporate person at all. I find the confines of corporate life just stifle my very soul. So being able to set up on my own, it was a risk, but I loved it, and I thrived. And you know, it is scary because, you know, you never know, you know, how you're going to pay the bills, or what, you know, you're dependent on clients and stuff. But you know, the success is you are the face of your business, and you've done so well. And like everybody I speak to talks about you, just go, Donna, she's so wonderful, she's doing such a great job. So, you know, even though you might have had to have beans on toast for a year, the sacrifice that you've made has benefited so many women. So we thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. And I think, yeah, again, I just wanted to be able to do that. It was important to me. I felt like it was my calling. You know, I don't think I could have ignored it. For my own benefit and for other women, I want to support women in finding their own empowerment, because, you know, it's a good thing to do.
And you've been very open and honest about your battles with mental health. So how did, you know, becoming a practitioner help? Because, you know, was it a case of preacher heal thyself? Because did that really help? Did you feel like you was, you know, you'd found yourself, and did the depression lift a little bit? Did it help?
Yeah, definitely. So I started with the Reiki because, like I said, I went to my friend and I felt the difference. So then I trained and I started healing, doing my own Reiki healing, and then I discovered meditation. And yeah, it just helped me just cope with things that I wouldn't have been able to cope with before. I was lucky enough, although I do say Reiki isn't a substitute for medication, I was lucky enough to be able to come off of my antidepressants, which had been a lifetime goal. I'd been on them for over 30 years.
Wow.
On and off. I kept trying to come off and kept going back because I just couldn't deal with life. It was just too much. And since I've come off of the antidepressants, I've got my toolbox, if you like. You know, I've got my meditation, I've got my Reiki if I'm having a bad day, because for me, depression is an ongoing battle. There's things that happen and I don't know how I'm going to deal with them. I will go off and do a meditation or a self Reiki healing, and then it clears my head, and then I know what I've got to do. So it's an ongoing thing. It's a yeah. And I did say to my husband, because he's a bit sceptical, and I sat him down after about 18 months of training and turning things around for myself, and said to him, what do you actually believe in? And he was, I don't know what I believe, because I've seen such a difference in you, and I'm grateful for what you're doing for you, but I'm not really sure what I believe. But obviously there's something, because you're a different person, and it's so nice to see. So yeah, it's an ongoing thing. But I've got the toolbox now that I need, and he will actually say to me if I'm in a bad mood, Don, go and do a meditation. So off I'll go.
That's such a wonderful kind of happy ever after story. It really is really heartwarming. My God, it's gone quickly, hasn't it?
It has really.
Oh,
Yeah,
time flies
really
when you're
quick.
having fun, doesn't it? So thank you for joining us on the Wellness Hour. It's been so insightful and so interesting. I know you've got some events coming up, so you don't have to give dates, but obviously tell us a little bit about what your plans are for maybe this year. And then I know you've mentioned doing a retreat next year. So put my name down now, please.
Yes, so I've got several events coming up. I have got a tea ceremony coming up, which is going to be really lovely. It's going to be a bit based around a women's circle, so it's going to be quite a sherry one, meditation, and we're going to do some planting, and we're going to set some intentions. So that's coming up. I have got another women's circle coming up in Winslow, because I've started to do some work in Winslow. So one's in Milton Keynes, one's in Winslow. We have got a retreat booked for next January, Annette and I. So Annette and I did the last one, so Annette and I are going to do another one next January. We're hoping to do one in the summer as well, but we haven't finalised that yet. And there's monthly sound baths, there's monthly moon circles, meditation. I do a meditation group as well fortnightly. So lots coming up.
Exciting. Put my name down. I'm looking forward to the sound bath next week. So how can people get hold of you?
So I am on Facebook. It's a Facebook page, Donna Moore Holistics. I'm on Instagram, again, Donna Moore Holistics. So it's Donna_Moore_Holistics on Instagram. Facebook should just come up with Donna Moore Holistics. And everything, all the events go on Facebook, everything goes on Facebook. I do also have a WhatsApp group. So if you contact me through the page, if you wanted to be added into the WhatsApp group, I can pop you in the WhatsApp group as well.
And I'm in that WhatsApp group, and it is a really warm, supportive community, and it is lovely, because some WhatsApp groups are really irritating, but this is it's so supportive. I can't believe actually it hasn't annoyed me, because normally I have to mute notifications, but I love everyone's positivity and warmth. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a very warm, nice place. It is a nice little WhatsApp group.
Thank you so much. It's been so lovely, honestly, an absolute privilege, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Oh, thank you for having me.
As I said, this couple of hours gone really, really quickly. If you'd like to be a guest, please contact me at nancy@horizonradio.com, or message me at nancy_MK_ on Instagram. As I say, if there's anything you'd like me to talk about my show, within reason, it would be absolutely lovely. But this is a safe space. We talk about pretty much anything, and if I've not covered it already, I'm really happy to do so. So thank you very much for tuning in. My name's Nancy Stevens. Have a lovely day.